Well, good evening and welcome to the LBJ Grasslands outside of Decatur, Texas. Tonight's exercise is a field test of the Fenix CL30R camping lantern, which I have on a field tripod to the left. I really want to thank Gear for Life for providing this unit for evaluation and making this review possible. I should also point out that it makes no difference whether a manufacturer or rep sends me a light or I buy it out of my own pocket, you still get the same review. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, you've heard me say dozens of times my primary use case for lighting systems is wilderness search and rescue. I really don't camp. What you see in front of me is pretty much about the extent of my camping experience. So I'm going to show you a couple of applications of this product that I could have in a search and rescue capacity. I'm going to show you all the various lighting modes from different distances, and you'll find that I do have some overlap between my lantern needs and the lantern needs of the camping community. So I'm going to wait for the sun to go down here, and then we'll get started with the field tests. Okay, the primary use that I have for a lantern is staging gear. And we are in low mode right now, and this can be a situation where I'm just setting up gear for the very first time. I'm about to go out. I'm making that final decision about what goes in my loadout. I really don't need much light, just enough to see what I'm doing, make that final decision, then do my final gear check. Or let's say that I just got back from searching an AOR, and I've checked in with Incident Command, and my instructions are wait for further instructions. And so I would gear down because I really don't know what I'll be doing next. And in this case, the Fenix gives me several interesting options. First, I really like that tripod mount. I like having the light just above me. It gives me good view of my surroundings, just enough view of the gear without being at eye level and being disturbing. Then I like the fact that we have 5 lighting modes. Eco is pretty good if you're, let's say, inside a tent. I think low is probably the minimal mode for doing anything outside a tent or what I'm doing now. Then I like the fact that it can charge devices. So I may get back from that initial search. I've only got a couple of USB slots in my truck. What if I need to top off or charge 3 devices? The fact that I can charge a device off of that lantern gives me an option that I didn't have before. And of course, I would probably carry 2 or 3 lanterns in my truck anyway. So this is the first use case I would have for a lantern. Next, I want to show some different area lighting options, and we'll look at the higher modes. This is medium mode. Again, I like the fact that I can set this lantern up on a ultralight field tripod. One of the things I may have to do, let's go back to that scenario where I check in with Incident Command. 30 minutes later, I get my instructions, which are the party that we were looking for has been found by another team member. That person had a lot of medical gear on them, but wasn't really set up to be out at night. I happen to be the next closest person, so my instructions are to ingress and provide area lighting and additional medical capability and security. So I'm always interested in, how good any type of lantern is for just general area lighting, because this is something that I would not pack normally. It's just too heavy. However, if my instructions are to specifically provide additional lighting, then of course I would take other items out of my pack to make up for the weight. So this is in medium. Let's look next at high and turbo. Same position, same area. This is high mode, and you can see I've stepped back quite a bit further. Just pan back and forth here, kind of look at the fringes of the area that it lights up. If I look over into here, I'm actually getting decent illumination out up into these trees, although it may not show up on the camera. This is turbo. I've stepped back even further. Yeah, from an area lighting standpoint, I could see, just depending on where I am, moonlight and other factors, medium, high, turbo, definitely getting the job done. I want to look at one more turbo test, more of as a beacon, and let's see what that looks like. Well, I placed the lantern at the top of a rise by some rocks that are next to the camp area, and it's in turbo, and I stepped off almost exactly 60 yards. So we're 60 yards away from the lamp in turbo, and it's, I could probably see that for 100 to 200 yards, if not more. So what I'm thinking about is a situation where I've got enough auxiliary light, or maybe we were able to light a fire, and I don't necessarily need this for area lighting, so I could use it as a beacon, perhaps along with another flashlight shining up in the air, and this could be used just to help guide other responders into our position. I got maybe one more test to do, and then we'll do a quick wrap up for this evening. Well, this is an interesting test. I've taken it off the tripod. I'm using the handle. This is eco mode. So the scenario here is that I don't have any other lighting, and I've dropped my keys. I think I dropped them somewhere around the truck. Let's see, not there. Let's look around here. Is that it? No. Oh wait, what about this? Okay, there we go. And I'll take this little shot here to do a wrap up. Overall, a very interesting light. I could see a number of uses for it, well outside of camping and many search and rescue activities. I love the quality of the light, the different carry and mounting options. So I think there's a lot to like here. Again, I'm not a camper. I'm not going to tell you this is a great camping light or an average camping light, but I hope you've seen enough of it to make that decision for yourself. If you'd like to see some additional tests, comparison with other lanterns, leave a comment, and as always, I will try to make it happen. And on the subject of as always, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for watching the video.